Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this. Making candy at home. Now, for a lot of folks, the very idea of making your own confection sounds, well, like something best left to the pros in commercial kitchens, right? You picture giant marble slabs and massive vats of boiling sugar. But today, we're looking at some absolutely fascinating recipe data that proves home fudge making isn't just doable, it's incredibly easy. It's versatile, and honestly, it's a ton of fun. We're going to break down the science and the methods, going from the absolute simplest microwave hacks all the way to mastering traditional stovetop techniques.
So is candy making just too intimidating? That's really the big question we're tackling today. You might be harboring those all too common fears, like accidentally burning the chocolate to a crisp, or the mixture seizing up so it turns into this awful grainy mess, or just, completely ruining the final texture. And hey, it's a completely genuine concern. But it's exactly the problem we're solving today. Because by understanding the basic structures and rules of these recipes, we can completely eliminate that intimidation factor.
Here's how we're going to break it all down on our culinary journey today. First, simple microwave fudge basics. Second, exciting flavors and textures. Third, traditional stovetop melting methods. And finally, perfect slicing and storage.
Let's jump right into Section 1, Simple Microwave Fudge Basics. Seriously, this is the beginner's best friend.
Okay, if you have literally never made candy before in your life, this is exactly where you start. In a simple glass bowl, you just mix your foundation. That's 3 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips, a 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk, and a 1/4 cup of butter. You pop that in the microwave for 4 to 5 minutes. Once it's all melted and gooey, this is your moment to add some texture. Our source actually suggests stirring in a cup of chopped walnuts right at this stage. Then, you simply pour that mixture into a butter-coated dish and chill it in the fridge for over 2 hours. I mean, think about how incredibly accessible that process is. Anyone can do this, for sure. But wait, here is the absolute most crucial takeaway for the microwave method. Listen to this number, 50. You absolutely must microwave your mixture at 50% power, basically medium heat. If you blast chocolate on high, there's no going back. It'll burn, and it'll become horribly bitter. The real secret to getting that perfect smooth consistency without burning anything is combining that 50% power with a little patience. Stop and stir the mixture every 1.5 minutes. That even heat distribution, that is exactly what gets you a flawless base. Which brings us to our second section, exciting flavors and textures. Getting creative.
Okay, now that we're totally confident with that base, you've got to realize fudge is basically a blank canvas. Just take a look at these exact flavor combos drawn directly from our recipe sources. You can actually mix butterscotch chips into your base and fold in chopped Snickers pieces for this incredibly decadent total candy bar experience. Or, hey, for a tropical twist, this one's from the silver spoon recipe, you can swap out standard cream for coconut cream and fold in some dried, diced pineapple. Want something a little more sophisticated? Try using a teaspoon of pistachio extract, a tiny drop of green food coloring, and fold in some chopped pistachios. The absolute key here is incorporating these dried fruits or different nut types for variety right before the fudge hardens completely. That way they set up perfectly inside the matrix of the candy. And this right here brilliantly illustrates how texture and color can just totally transform a recipe. Stained glass fudge. It is so cool. Instead of a chocolate base, you melt down a vanilla candy coating with your sweetened condensed milk. Then, you fold in these multicolored miniature candy gumdrops. When you chill this whole thing and slice it up, those brightly colored gumdrops look exactly like beautiful, eye-catching stained glass windows set against that pure white vanilla background.
But, I absolutely love this little detail from the source text. It features this very strict all-caps instruction, no black gumdrops. You literally have to sit there, pick out, and remove every single black piece from your 1.5 cups of miniature gumdrops before you mix them in, because obviously black spots would totally ruin that bright, colorful stained glass illusion. So yeah, it's a slightly tedious step, but trust me, it's absolutely essential for that visual payoff.
Okay, so moving on. If you want to step away from the microwave and level up a bit, we enter Section 3, Traditional Stovetop Melting Methods. It's all about precision and control.
So, while the microwave is wonderfully fast, a lot of people actually prefer the classic saucepan method because it lets you intimately monitor the physical changes happening to those sugars and fats in real time. Let's contrast the two for a second. The microwave technique is pretty carefree, right? Medium power, stir every 1.5 minutes, easy. But the classic saucepan technique? That requires some strict rules. You dissolve your ingredients over low heat, gently testing the bottom with a heat-resistant spatula. Oh, and here's a great professional tip from our sources. Use a buttered spatula. It ensures absolutely nothing sticks, which helps you get beautifully smooth edges later. You have to monitor the mixture as it simmers to ensure there are zero clumps. You're basically trading the speed of the microwave for absolute, undeniable control over the final texture. Now, what's really interesting here is that in stovetop candy making, temperature is literally everything. For the traditional rum raisin fudge recipe, 234 degrees Fahrenheit is the exact scientific target you need to hit. No guessing allowed. You actually clip a candy thermometer right to the inside of your saucepan to monitor the temperature. This ensures you achieve that perfect fudge consistency without accidentally burning it. Reaching exactly 234 degrees means the sugar concentration is at what's called the softball stage. Basically, it will set up firm enough to slice, but it'll still remain soft enough to absolutely melt in your mouth.
The timeline of this stovetop process is honestly a fascinating sensory experience. First, you cook it until you reach that magic 234 degrees. Then you turn off the heat and just let it cool. But wait, here is the real trick. You have to let it drop to 120 degrees Fahrenheit, which is basically lukewarm, without stirring it at all. If you get impatient and stir it while it cools, the sugar crystallizes way too fast and the whole batch turns gritty. Finally, once it hits 120, you grab a spoon and beat the mixture vigorously for 5 to 10 minutes. You'll actually watch the fudge physically transform right before your eyes. It thickens up, it stiffens, and it completely loses that glossy sheen. And that, my friends, is exactly when you know it's ready to pour.
Let's move to our next section to see how all of this builds into the final presentation. Section 4. Perfect slicing and storage. The finishing touches.
When it comes down to it, presentation relies really heavily on uniformity. This is especially true if you're arranging these in gift boxes for friends or family. Our sources strongly emphasize cutting the fudge into neat, uniform 1-inch squares. Doing this keeps all the pieces identical, which provides this highly polished, totally professional presentation. It magically turns a homemade block of chocolate into a premium-looking confection that looks absolutely incredible sitting inside a decorative gift box.
And what about keeping all this hard work fresh? Well, our sources categorize storage really neatly, giving us clear instructions on how to handle the delicious creations. You can keep your finished product right at room temperature, provided it's securely stored inside a lidded container. If you need it to firm up quickly, or maybe you just prefer a colder bite, the refrigerator will chill it firm in about 1 to 2 hours. And hey, if you've made a massive batch and you want to save some for the holidays, you can absolutely pop it in the freezer for long-term preservation.
So, we've successfully demystified the entire process. You now have the exact blueprint for everything from melting temperatures, to folding in perfectly chopped walnuts or colorful gumdrops, to getting those professional smooth edges. The only question left to ask is this: which method are you going to master first? Will you jump right in with the quick, beginner-friendly microwave hack? Or are you feeling adventurous and ready to tackle the exact science of the stovetop tradition? Whichever path you choose, get into the kitchen, start experimenting with those flavors, and really just enjoy the process. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy candy making!